My name is Joel. We're from Southbrook Business Development Group, and welcome again for those people that are just joining. If you have a question, feel free to send it in the chat box, and I will try to answer it either during this session or right after this session when it comes to a Q&A. So let's talk about, first let's talk about the agenda. So right now the agenda, I want to talk about franchising trends, best practices for franchise events. I want to talk a little bit of what we do at Southbrook Business and how we can help you. And then explore part two, just some of our brands. We did have a franchise show webinar last month, and we will be doing one next month. And so we do go near the end, we discuss a little bit about our events. Okay, so let's get right into it and talk about the, 1 second, sorry about that, my apologies, just some trouble. Let's talk about what is franchising. Okay, so there's sometimes a misconception of what franchising is. You have a franchisee and you have a franchisor. Okay, basically it is a business relationship where the franchisor license may not be the right word, but more franchises a brand, system, and support. So what you look for in a good franchise, three things. What is the brand? And I can tell you right now, more and more people are not looking for a brand that's been around for 35 years. People are really interested in the new and up-and-coming brands. So just because a brand is brand new, don't disqualify them, because again, see if they have systems, see if they have support, and see if it's something that you could see owning in the next 5 to 10 years. The franchisee actually owns and operates the business, but they don't own the brand. They're licensing or franchising the brand. And again, what you really should think is you are an independent small business using the franchisee systems and support. Okay, so each franchise is an independent small business and should be treated like that. So make sure you understand that. Why do people like franchising? Very, very easy. It's a proven model, less trial and error, brand recognition. So customers already know and trust. And even if it's a new brand, there's still brand recognition. I get so many calls that says, okay, well, you've only been around, you only have 2 locations. There still is brand recognition within those areas. Training and support, okay? Buying power, so there is a lower cost, even if they have 2, 3, 4, or 10. And think of, the way I put it is, when people buy a franchise, they always say, oh, I can get it cheaper somewhere else. And again, my advice to you is worry about top line sales. Don't worry about the little numbers, because if you had top line sales, there's really nothing else that you really need to worry about, because sales cover everything. Okay? Faster startup, again, they should be helping you with, Google Ads, promotions, grand opening parties. So you'll see with a brand a faster intake of sales as you go in the beginning. Okay, what you do afterwards is really up to you as an operator. And again, you have marketing power. Okay, so if you're going to do an independent, okay, restaurant or business, okay, you're one store. Even if they have 3 or 4 stores, that's more purchasing brand power or marketing dollars that you're able to have. So again, that's why people like franchising. Okay, very important. So what is the advantages for people on this call that we call entrepreneurs? There is a lower risk of failure. Franchise businesses do have failures, but it's at a lower risk. And when you go into business by yourself, with either by yourself or with a franchisor, there always is going to be a risk. One of my brands that we represent, they're amazing of sharing their knowledge and peer networks. Okay, so see how many times you're able to meet with other franchisees within your system and see if they're sharing the best practices. Okay, and ask that at a franchise show. Do you share best practices? They have a clear operational guideline and easier access to financing. So when you have one store, sometimes financing can be difficult, but when you have multi-stores, there's a proven system for financing. So why do franchisors like franchising? Okay, let's understand what a franchisor's advantage is. Okay, so basically the franchisor opens 1 or 2 stores of their own, and then they start franchising. So they do this because for a couple reasons. They be able to scale their business without having to put that heavy capital that you're putting in. So there's no secret. They're using a franchise to build their system through franchisees investing their money. They do have a faster market penetration, and they want to deal with highly motivated owner-operators. They always say in general, a franchisee will run a better establishment than a corporate store, in general. And then they do get revenues from royalties and ad fee and also rebates. You know, I get so many discussion, do they take rebates? So every franchisor has the right to take rebates. Whether they do or not is up to them. And yes, it's a question that you should ask, but at the end of the day, it's very important that you understand that that is okay, that there's nothing wrong with that. Let's talk a little bit about market statistics. So they say it's the global, all over the world, is worth trillions to the economy of those places that the franchisor and the franchisees are in. It builds job, and it also is building loyalty. Franchising is about 25 plus of all businesses in many countries. And again, I always say franchise businesses have a higher success rate and a less failure rate. So that's market statistics that, again, and anything can be franchised these days. So where do you see the future of franchising goes? Okay, you're going to see a lot more technology integration. You're going to be able to do a lot of your stuff by AI, digital ordering, digital menus, apps to do your online or ordering. You want a franchisor that understands that technology is here and how can you use the advantage of technology to gain sales and ease of operations. You also want to know the future of franchising. It really is a health focused market, wellness focused market. That's what franchisees are doing, and really eco-friendly is where we're at. So all the systems that are out there are either doing one or both, depending on what type of business. Service industries are on a growth. So in the last few years, they say restaurant is the majority of franchise growth in the world, but you've seen more and more people going into a service industry rather than restaurant. We're also seeing more and more franchisors going into a multi-unit ownership model or master franchise. So multi-unit, you own more than one location, same operator, maybe different operating partner. But again, you see more and more not getting away from the single operators, but they want to find franchisees that have the capacity to do more and more locations. Again, they understand that person, and there's less risk from a franchisor when there's a multi-unit or a master franchise. You're also seeing more global expansion. So you'll see Canadian brands going into the US, as you're seeing US brands going into Canada. If I look at my portfolio, I probably have 3 or 4 brands that are coming into Canada, and you're also seeing them brands going overseas. Okay. So what is emerging? And I'll get to the franchise show very well, but I want you to understand some of the trends and what to watch for, because that will educate you better when you're at the franchise show. And again, it is now franchise season, and you'll see that September, October, and you'll also see January, February, where the franchise shows are put on the most. Right now, you're seeing more smaller footprints. So I always say 5,000 square feet are going to 3,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet are going to 2,000, and you're seeing a lot of 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. Okay. You also see a lot of customization and personalization, meaning that there are franchisors that will take the market and customize across Canada. Okay. They still have their standard package that, what's good in the East is good in the West, but maybe it's the look, maybe it's adding some programs, maybe it's adding some menu items depending on what type of brand. I know that the tutoring franchise that we represent, they allowed some customization throughout Canada, meaning that there's different programs that work in different places or different languages that they allow their franchisors to customize. Remote management tools, big one, where you have now your Android or your Apple product to be able to run your business on an hourly basis through your phone and understand whether it's labor, food costs, cameras, delivery times, you name it, you're able to get more and more on that on your phone. So you're able to know when you're not there, what's actually going on in your business. And then more and more marketing businesses are driven by social media. So when you go to the franchise show and people say to you, you ask someone, what do you do for marketing? Again, general comment that more and more people are doing social media marketing. That's where people are going, on their phones, in the subway, on the bus, in the doctor's office waiting, you name it, they're using their phones, and that's why more and more franchisors are going to social media. So you won't see as many, in the pizza people, they normally do still delivery to their flyers, but more and more people are doing the social media. Okay. So what model will grow? Okay, what's growing these days? Okay, low barriers to enter, then starting from scratch. So you'll see that that you'll see some franchisors that are trying to get their costs down, but cost are costs. I mean, at the end of the day, do franchisors allow to increase their costs? Add some management fee into their costs 100% because they're managing the product. What models will grow out there? Sorry about that. My apologies. What models will grow there? Where you see strong support structure. So I tell you, those are the most important questions: is what support will the franchisor gives to the franchisee? Very good questions. Consumer trust, so more and more brands that build consumer trust. Google reviews, always take a look at that. Ask them at the franchise show, what are their Google reviews out there? And what are their obstacles with the consumer? And then again, all of this is really applicable across the industry. So it doesn't matter if you're restaurant, service, education, all that, all of this applies to us, to the franchise business. So key takeaways that I want to take away in section 1 is, if it's a proven system, what's within the proven system? If it's not a proven system and it's just a startup franchise, just ask a lot more questions to understand where their marketing brand's going and also where their support. Okay? Security. There's never security when you open a business, but there is less risk when you open a franchise. Ask them about brand recognition. Ask them about what their growth opportunity is. You know, you're a single operator. How do you become a multi-unit operator over time? We talk about technology. We talked about global reach, eco-friendly, and then again, all of these factors will help remain the most efficient when it comes to ways to grow. Okay? So let's talk about the events. Okay, so why are you going to events? Okay, I always say you're not going to the event just to look for the freebies that, you know, franchisor goes to. It gives out, my apologies. You're there to learn about different franchise opportunities. You know, I see a lot of people stop by booth, by booth, by booth, by booth, by booth, and they're asking the same questions over and over, and they're taking notes. I love those people. Now, you can also overthink a concept too. So I always say the first thing you do when you come into a franchise show or before a franchise show, talk about lifestyle and what lifestyle you want to live. That to me is the most important question. Is it full-time you want to do, part-time? Do you like, you know, I love fitness. So for me, a fitness franchise would be amazing. Would I be, would I be good for a, construction franchise? No, because that's not what I like. Could I run one? Yes, over time. But again, go with what you first really, really like. And this weekend, there's the National Franchise Show, and myself and Ted will be speaking at that show, talking about lifestyle and when you're choosing a franchise. So check out National Events website, and we will be speaking about it. Understand investment level and requirements. Okay, so banks will only finance, again, and I'm not a banker, I'm not giving you any advice. Any of this that I talk to you is basically what I know. Banks will finance 70 to 80% of what we call furniture, fixture, and equipment. There's different programs out there. Understand the investment level, okay? Understand what you can afford. Understand how much unencumbered cash or liquid cash you have. And be very, very honest when you speak to a franchise rep. So many times I get on calls and I hear, yeah, I can do this, I have. And when we get into a deeper conversation, they actually don't have. So if you go in and you don't understand what unencumbered cash is or liquid cash, feel free to talk to the franchise rep. They're all there to explain their brand and try to explain how to get financing and investment level. These days we get a lot of calls that, oh my God, that's so expensive. I think you're overcharging. Okay, the cost is the cost, and we all know that costs have gone up, and I can tell you franchisors are trying to get their costs down, but what it cost 5 years ago, 3 years ago to buy a business has gone up. So most likely when they say their costs, there's really no room, no negotiations when it comes to costing. Some franchisors will allow you to build your own business, meaning you have to use their architect and designer and probably some of their equipment, but they're able, construction-wise, go out and build it on your own, or they want to control the build, and they'll give you a budget up front. You're there also to meet face-to-face with the reps. So really ask direct questions. Again, please ask the right questions. I really do not like the question that when someone comes up to the booth right away, how much will you make? First of all, franchisors cannot, and I'll get into that, give out projections, and they can't give out what you're going to make. Okay. You're also there to network with other, franchisees that are walking the floor. So listens to when you go into a booth, and you're waiting to speak to someone, listen to the other people. It could be another franchisee that has another brand that's looking for a different brand, or someone in experience operator that's looking for a franchise. Industry expert advisors and suppliers. You'll find that suppliers on the floor. You'll find other lawyers on the floor. You'll find designers on the floor, construction people on the floor or in the booths. Go up to them, even though you're not yet ready to purchase a franchise. They're there to give you advice. Go to any of the seminars that are out there. Very important that you go to those seminars and listen, take notes, and then go back onto the floor. Spend a good day there. It's not hard, whether it's a smaller show or a larger show. So there's types of franchise events. Okay, so there's the franchise trade show events. And right now, National Event is having an event this weekend, and you'll also see the Canadian Franchise Associations will soon have their event schedule out when it comes to franchise show. So again, and typically it runs, like I said, is September, October, January, February. After you've gone to the show, you will get sometimes a call out to come to a discovery day. And then basically what that is an invitation only to meet with the franchisor one-on-one. So we'll go into this presentation very shortly to talk about what happens after the show, but that's what discovery days are. It's really either a one-on-one or one on a small group where you're able to meet at a location or their head office to talk about the brand. You'll also see some franchise conference out there that you could attend. The Canadian Franchise Association, the National, puts on some shows. And then you also see the franchise training and workshop where some of the companies out there will talk about franchise training or workshops. As of this webinar for yourself, you'll see people like ourselves giving our not advice, but giving our knowledge to the market out there about different topics about franchising. So there's a lot of events out there. So there's a lot of opportunity to learn before you purchase. So what do you expect at this show? Okay, dozens of or hundreds of brands across the industry will be at these shows, depending on the size of the shows. Some shows are really big, some shows are smaller, and that's okay. You're going to see staff that are manned by either franchisors or development reps, or ourselves, like Southbrook will be at the franchise show, and we're representing 4 booths there. We'll have our own booth plus 3 of our our brands that we represent. You'll see that they'll give printed brochures, they'll give videos, they'll give presentations within their booths. And basically, what to expect at this show is every franchisor or development rep will ask for your name, number, and your email address. If you don't want to give it, just tell them you're not interested at this time or you're not at that stage. You know, I see people that you know, will say yes because maybe they feel pressured and they'll put a wrong phone number or they'll put a wrong email. Just be upfront. You know, we're all business people there. Yes, the reps are looking for lead generation. That's why they go in there. But they're also looking for good franchisees, and that's why they go there. And the two shows that I talk about, National and the Canadian Franchise Association, put on excellent shows with very good franchisors or business opportunities. So you will be asked to fill out a form, and please fill out. If you're not interested in filling out a form, just let the rep know. You'll learn about live seminars, expert panelists that go there for information. And sometimes there's network lounges there, or there's meeting areas where you can sit down with the rep. Sometimes the reps, development reps, have time to sit down with you and talk to you right there one-on-one. So before you attend, okay, you should prep. If you're really serious about buying a franchise, is research the brand, go online, you know, see what their cost is, what their brand, how many locations they have, that kind of stuff. Prepare, go to their website, National's website or CFA. A lot of times they will list who's attending the show and prepare a list. Or if you didn't go, prepare what do you like to do, what type of business you want. When you get there, you'll get on entry, you'll get a list of all the franchisors and try to hit the ones that you want to hit up front. Because again, those are the ones that interest you the most. And again, it's okay to skip and come back to the aisle. Learn about basic franchise terminology. You'll hear a lot of FDD, franchise disclosure document. Learn what that is. And every franchisor, there's certain provinces that don't give FDDs or franchise disclosure documents. And learn, you'll hear Arthur Wishart Act, two things that terminology you will hear. Understand what a franchise fee is, understand what royalties are, ad fund, all those are terminologies that we use in the industry. Bring your business card, not to say that you should be soliciting, because again, you shouldn't. If you're, you know, if you're looking for a business, that's what we're there for. A lot of times we do have some problems where people solicit stuff, but again, we do get to, we know how to handle that. And prepare a list of questions that you must answer. Okay, sorry about that. So smart questions to answer, okay, is total investment required. Okay, what is the total investment and what does that include? Okay. So does that include working capital? Does that include first and last month's rent, opening inventory, training costs, FF&E, furniture, fixture, and equipment? There's another terminology that you'll learn at the franchise show. People call it, say, FF&E. Ongoing royalties and marketing fee. You may ask typical payback period, but again, most franchisors will not say that. Training. How long is the training? Is it 6 months, 2 weeks? Where is it? Is it you know, if it's a Vancouver base, is it in Vancouver? You need to understand that because again, and again, a lot of restaurants just are 4 to 6 weeks. So are you able to, you know, go to another province or be away from 4 to 6 weeks doing the training? Talk about territory. So it's not uncommon for people. It's not uncommon for people to not give territories. Most franchisors do. What is the day-to-day operations of a franchise life? And again, that's a very good, so you understand whether or not this is something that you want to do or can do. Maybe you have kids, you want to be able to pick up, deliver the kids. Maybe you have another job. Understand what a day-to-day life of a franchise. And then key points of differentiality. So you will see, again, I'm not just bring 3 burger places, franchisors there. What makes you different? One of the questions I always get is, oh, I want to be in Maine in Milton, but there's 3 other burger places on that, are you afraid for the competition? In general, competition's good. If other people would have gone there, like the other burger places would have gone there, that means there should be, enough business for everybody. So you want to go to the area. And the other things I always say is if you're first to the market, you will not be the only one there over time. So if you can get first to the market, great. But do not be afraid of competition. Okay, let's talk about during the event, best practices. Arrive early, map your route, dress professionally. As you see the people dress proper at the shows. Some people, you always will see me with a jacket on. The days of, some people will wear ties, the development reps, or they'll just wear their logo shirt. Dress nicely. I mean, at the end of the day, you're also coming to, as they're interviewing you, they're also interviewing yourself. Okay, be approachable. Okay, if someone comes, you will for sure have people come down in the aisles, and people say, "Hey, would you like to learn about my brand? Hey, would you like to learn about my brand?" Just be approachable. Say, you know what, I'm not looking for a service industry, but thank you very much. Okay, some people just will. I like the best people. They walk down the aisles like this because they're afraid someone will talk to them. Well, that's what the development reps are there for. So expect that when you come in to do it. If they don't do it, that means they're not doing their job. And again, their job is to get franchise leads. Collect brochures. Take notes if you need. Ask for franchisees reference. You won't be able to do that at this time, but ask what the process is and when would you be able to speak to other franchisees. And then again, I always say network with suppliers and advisors that are there. Construction people, lawyers, accountants, marketing people, development people like Southbrook. Good place to get information. What to avoid. Don't just grab the freebies without engaging. Okay, just go up. Hi, how are you? I'm just taking a pen. Avoid monopolizing someone's time. A lot of people, when you see the time with people coming in and out, you may be asking a lot of questions. But again, remember, everybody there wants to speak to the rep. So please, excuse me, do not monopolize their time. Don't make immediate commitment without, looking in detail. Again, no one can force you to sign anything right there, except they may ask you to fill out a form to get your name, email address, and your phone number. Do not ask how much money you're going to make. Like I said, that's the one question I hate. And if you are going to ask it, okay, and the franchisor or the rep shouldn't be answering that question because it all depends on, the systems and all that you implement, is if you're going to ask that question, even though you shouldn't and they shouldn't answer that, is again, don't answer it up front. The more important is talk about the brand, talk about the support, talk about the territory, talk about, different other stuff before you get to that questions. So when a brand does not want to give out projections, they're not hiding anything. So many people ask me, so what do you think I could do in Vaughan, or in Cambridge, or which market is better? Do you think I can do more sales in Cambridge than Vaughan? When a rep says, listen, I can't give projections out, it's not because the franchisor is trying to hide something or their sales are low. It's because they're not allowed to do it. You need to do your own investigation. You're there to start the investigation of and gain information, but then it's up to you as a buyer to gain more information however you can. Avoid showing up without knowing your goals and your budget. Okay, so really, if you go and it's $1 million and you don't have $1 million, or you need 300,000 in equity, understand that there's nothing wrong with that. So when you hear someone say, oh, it's about 250 equity, well, thank you very much, but that's a little bit higher than my budget. Your development rep may ask some more questions to maybe there's a solution. But again, if you can't afford it, or if you don't know your goals, let the development rep understand that. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen afterwards? I'll tell you what's going to happen afterwards. Is that same day or the next day is take all the brochures that you have, and throw out the ones you're not interested. Do an ABC pile, saying, okay, this is my favorite, not favorite. Here's throw out, and organize the materials, and then read the materials. Hey, there's nothing wrong with you sending thank you emails to the people you've talked to. They'll all give you your business cards. But again, expect that you'll receive some sort of email. You should receive some sort of email. Let me rephrase that. Some franchisors grab all these leads and don't do anything with them. But anyways, that's another story. They'll send you thank you note. Thank you for attending this show. I hope you enjoyed it. We're here. Here's some more information. Internally, you can book calls and call these reps up and say, hey, I'm very, very interested. But again, I can tell you that you will get calls from the brands that you filled out the forms. And normally it happens, you Saturday, Sunday, by Monday, Tuesday, you should be getting calls. And then you should be able to compare opportunities. Okay, so say, okay, I went to 3 burger places, I went to 3 tutoring. What would I like? What did I like about what the rep has told me, or the franchisor if they were there? What do I like and what don't I like? And then you can, take it from here and go all the way from here. Review your notes and make it 1, 2, 3 ABC. So again, I kind of went into this a little bit. Expect emails, phone calls from the franchisor who you've spoken. They may send you digital brochures, videos, invitations to open houses, and you'll see some of the stuff that I've sent, or some even sends what we call a franchise disclosure document. They'll call you and make sure they want to qualify you, and then they will ask you to fill out a franchise application. So a lot of times what happens is you're asking all these questions, and by the time that it's time to fill out an application, that's when you disappear. Okay, if you're not interested, just tell these people, because a good franchisor rep will keep calling you and calling you and calling you to ensure that they're making sure that they probably get what we call a no from you, or I'm not interested at that time. So expect that. So the earlier you tell them you're not interested, they can update their list, and then you won't have the people calling you. Again, you may have 6, 7 brands calling you. So and there may be that you were just there looking, and you filled it out, again, just let them know immediately afterwards. Should you answer the franchisor email? Even if you're not interested, keep your reputation, keep yourself positive with them. Okay, today you may not be interested in that brand, but maybe later on you will. What we call, and here's a term that we use, I guess, ghosting can close doors in the future opportunity. Again, you may come back and say, hey, now I'm ready, but they'll look at their notes and say, okay, I remember speaking to this person. When it came to the application process, I got what we call ghosted, or all of a sudden they became silence. If you're uninterested, politely decline. And if you're interested, respond promptly. And I love when I get an email from someone is, thank you very much. At this time, I'm no longer interested, or let me check back, or it was too expensive. I love getting those emails because I know where people stand. Tips for Discovery Day. Basically, and we're going to have some Discovery Days with two of our brands after the franchise show, Lucomania and also All-Star Wings. That's basically really a two-way interview. You're going to, a lot of times the franchisors will be there, or the senior management will be there. It's an observation how they're treating, if it's in a franchise show, how they're treating franchisees, there. A lot of times if the franchisee's there at the open house, you can speak to the franchisee at these open houses. Okay. Maximize your ROI for attendance. Okay. And again, build a network, attend education seminars, bring a partner or advisor for extra information or questions. So if you have a partner, a lot of times I have, I'm here to grab information, but I want to go back to the partner. Try to grab your partner or your spouse to come, because again, they're going to be involved in your business. And constantly evaluate what a sales rep says. So, final takeaway, okay? They're a stepping stone. Franchisors put this to inform you and give you a good, 5-10 minutes overview of their concept as a stepping stone. Prepare, engage, and follow through professionally. Those are the three things that will make your franchise show experience meaningful. So I just have another section here. I'm seeing it's about 45 minutes. I just want to quickly talk about what we do at Southbrook and who we are. We help entrepreneurs and franchisors, what we say, grow smarter, faster, and stronger. Okay, so we help with franchisor growth. We're business consultants, so we help with strategy for businesses or for potential franchisees. Sales support, so we'll help them with their sales, training, and process. So that's what we do. Some of our people on our team are real estate brokers, so we can help you with site selections, lease negotiations, and market analysis. So basically, we are a full-service consulting company helping businesses launch their business or helping franchisees find their right business for them. So handle two, franchisors, franchisees, or local people that want to grow their business into a franchise. We have decades of experience and business strategies that we can help with everyone. Okay. Again, we talk about lifestyle, and I told you on the September 13th, 14th, we will be speaking, myself and Ted will be speaking on how to choose a franchise that truly fits your lifestyle. Our philosophy at Southbrook is your business opportunities should fit your lifestyle, so you can build without sacrificing balance. Okay, a couple more things. If you're looking for a service industry and you took in the construction field, we have Koala Insulation, very high demand, a rapid expansion in the US. They've grown to about 400 franchises. They offer eco-friendly solutions. In the construction industry, also we have Viera, concrete supplies, and again, this is for those people interested in construction. Lucamania Cafe, that is a Greek concept, ease of operation, very simple. It's a casual place to meet up and have a coffee with pastry. Very low overheads, very good margins because there's really no cooking in there. Our Star Wings, wing concept is on the rise and people always love wings. There's really two formats. They just introduced a express, hybrid, and traditional locations, which is like 5,000 square feet. They're what we call a family-friendly sports atmosphere. Sorry about that. We have Kukuli Cafe. If you're looking for something unique and different in the cafe business, we have what we call Bannock, and it's a cultural impact, and it's out of Vancouver, looking to grow across Canada. We have Jumping Bean, another cafe, interesting concept. They're looking for master franchisees only, and what they'll do compared to anybody different is they're going to let you have the ability to find franchisees and grow that way, and you're going to be able to control what you sell to the franchisees. No other master franchisors that I know or that I've dealt with allows that secondary part, and that is a big bonus because you have now two ways to earn income. They're very community focused. They're based in the East Coast and looking for master franchise across Canada. Foodmania is our newest concept. They'll have a booth at the national show. 3 brands under one roof, one counter, 3 brands. Greek, a roadie concept, and then a fusion concept together. Ease of operation, multi-concepts, not 3, one cash, one set of crew. And then another new brand that we have is Damara Day Spas, a huge wellness and health benefit program that we just add. They have 16 plus location. Japanese head spa, if anybody ever tried the Japanese head spa, even I did with no hair, it was amazing, so relaxing. Full support, cross Canada growth, 16 plus locations. So excellent brand too. And we will have, Southbrook will be there. So what's next? Okay, we have next month, October 23rd at 11 a.m. We have what is a master franchise and how to structure one. We have the national show on the 13th and 14th, and Ted and myself will be speaking. We have an all-star open house or Discovery Day, September 17th at 6:30. And then we have an open house in Lucamania, September 25th at 6:30. And you'll get more information on all of these events. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Lots of information. We're here to help you with any questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free. Reach out to us at info@Southbrook Business, southbrook.com. We'll be at the franchise show. Mila will be at our Southbrook booth. Ted will be at our All-Star booth. And myself, I'm going to be at the Foodmania booth at the national show. We also have Peterland, and our Joanna will also be there at our Peterland. So lots of people from Southbrook, lots of good information. If no one has any questions, I hope you enjoyed this seminar, webinar, and looking forward to help you educate you into finding a system that's right for you. Take care.